echo Assemblyman Singleton's legitimate challenge for more discussion, and would be happy today to cast my vote against this bill if someone has a better alternative. A number of my colleagues, and it's been a very amazing debate, unlike many that we have in this House that are strictly one-sided by party. But we've had years knowing this was coming. So for my friends on my side of the, and the other side of the aisle who don't want more debt, legitimately I agree, who don't want more taxes, legitimately, and I agree, but also who have failed to come up with the billions of dollars in cuts to our budget that would be needed in order for us to come up with an alternative to this plan. I'm open. I'm ready. I'm all ears. I just haven't seen it. The left hates this bill generally because it cuts taxes too much. The right hates it because, cuts taxes too much. The right hates it because it raises taxes too much. Those who argue that the estate tax component of this is somehow just a benefit of the wealthy simply do not understand tax policy. There is no question. There is probably no financial planner in the state of New Jersey who is worth his certificate that you can go to who will tell you that the estate tax is not driving the top 1% of income earners out of this state. These people already own houses in Florida. They just have to certify they're there another month or two a year, and they completely zero out their income taxes, their state taxes, and their inheritance taxes. If you're one of the whales, and I say that with all due affection to those really high income earners that are the 1% that's paying 20% of our income tax, every one of them we drive out of this state means the burden that they picked up while they were here goes to the middle class and the folks struggling at the lower end of the income levels who do pay taxes as well. The burden goes up. So the estate tax elimination is probably the best part of this whole package, and it benefits everybody in New Jersey the most. Those who argue that the gas tax increase is too high, well, yes, it sucks. Every tax increase on the already overtaxed people of New Jersey is too much. That begs a bigger question. That question is about our overall budget mess. We really aren't just debating a $2 billion infrastructure shortage here today. What we're debating is a $4 to $7 billion overall budget shortfall. No one in this chamber has spent more time, maybe some as much, but no one has spent more time on our budget than I have. No one has done a deeper dive into our road costs and infrastructure budgets than have I. I spoke to the Reason Foundation folks, both of the authors of that study, legitimate folks. Once you go through the numbers with them, they don't have a dog in this fight. But once you go through the real numbers with them after, and I also spoke to the authors of the Utah study. I also spoke to probably half a dozen other infrastructure specialists throughout the country with no dog in our fight here. Once you go through the numbers, Troy is right. We probably aren't quite as cheap as he says we are per mile. We are probably still a little more expensive than some other states, but it's not a wild outlier, as some folks would have us believe. And I would be willing to challenge those people that simply claim we have $2 million costs. Did you make those calls? Did you do that research? I bet it wasn't done. Because if you did, you couldn't continue to make that claim. In the end, $2 billion for our infrastructure every year is about right. That leads to a discussion of the way to generate it. We don't need just $2 billion this year. We need $2 billion or the equivalent thereof every year. The one discussion that nobody wants to have is that makes that an operating expense. It really isn't capital anymore. We don't need one bridge that we're going to finance over 50 years. We need a new bridge, the equivalent of it, every single year. For those people that say it's like a mortgage on a house, well, it is, except next year you got to buy another house and keep the old one and keep making payments on it. And the year after that, and the year after that, forever. Nobody wants to have that discussion. Because that discussion would mean if we want to do it without debt, want to do it without tax increase, or excuse me, do it without debt, and we want to do it avoiding that amount of cost to our budget every year, about a 40-cent a gallon gas tax increase. Again, I'm the only one foolish enough to tell that truth on this floor or in this House. No one on the left or the right wants to have those discussions. I intend to force those holistic budget discussions as we go forward. But today we must arrive at a compromise. To move our transportation infrastructure forward, we're going to have to come together. Regarding tax cuts that are part of this bill, they will in fact create a bigger hole in our budget. We need to admit that. But for once, if we create a hole in our budget because we let taxpayers keep more of their money, rather than create a hole in the budget, as we've done over and over and over again for 20 years, by promising more of taxpayers' hard-earned dollars to other special interests to curry political favor, I'm willing to deal with that. I'm a budget officer. I will build that hole and that cost into my overall budget plan that will show how we can balance our budget within the next 5 years. I'll accept that responsibility. My support of these cuts makes it incumbent upon me to do that. In the end, the tax increases on New Jersey residents will amount to around net $900 million a year. The tax cuts and other funds that are provided to offset property tax cuts will amount to almost $1.6 billion a year all in. And that's without the economic multiplier that Assemblyman Singleton mentioned. The opponents to this have offered no alternatives. While this plan is not perfect, it's earned my vote. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.